Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Praise and I film about lifestyle, family and tech. For those who are new here, thank you so much for joining this community. Thank you for watching my video. For my returning subscribers, thank you for always working with me. As you can tell by the topic, today I'll be doing a story time about how I became a product manager without having a tech background. If you're interested in knowing how I did it and how I've grown in my career over the course of some years, then please keep watching. The story begins in 2021. 2 months after I got married, I lost my job. And as the star girl that I am, I thought I was going to get a job immediately. As at the time, I was a process excellence associate and I was looking for jobs in other organizations within the same role. I searched for a while. Apparently, I didn't get a job as quickly as I thought I would. And on this fateful day, my husband was working from home. My husband works in HR, by the way. It's one of the things he does. He's HR by day, therapist by night, but he works in HR and he was working from home and conducting an interview. And of course, I was in the same house with him. I was in the same room with him, so I could hear everything that was going on. And the way that interview went, the way the guy was able to articulate himself, respond to questions, and talk about what he was doing as a product manager really piqued my interest. Some of the things that they were talking about on that call, because the hiring manager was also on the interview, he was the one asking like the more technical questions. They sounded a bit familiar. That's the word. Sounded a bit familiar. I felt like I understood a couple of the things that he was talking about on surface level. Of course, one of the things that really piqued my interest was the fact that it was a tech role and he wasn't required to code, because up until that time I really didn't know that there were tech roles where you did not need to code. I thought that for you to be in tech you must know how to code, because I have 3 younger sisters who are all in tech. I remember pushing all of them to go into tech. My immediate younger sister is a data scientist and an AI machine learning engineer. I'll put the exact title on the caption. I'll put the exact title there. My other sister is a cloud computing engineer and my youngest sister is a product designer. So everybody was basically doing tech except me. I felt like my time had gone. I was already working. I didn't have the time to start learning how to code. While I hoped I could get into tech, I didn't necessarily realize that there were roles in tech that did not require a person to code. And I asked my husband, how long has he been a product manager for? Is it like a senior role? My husband told me that he had not been a product manager for up to 2 years. He was barely 2 years as a product manager. And so, the familiarity, the fact that it was a tech role that did not require coding, and the fact that it looked like there was money in that role were some of the things that piqued my interest at first. After listening on in that interview, I asked my husband to send me the JD for that role. Typically, they post a JD on LinkedIn or on Indeed, on different platforms where they recruit people. I needed to see that job description to just understand. I felt like it would give me a better understanding of what the role of a product manager was about. He gave it to me. I went through it. Again, a couple of things that were familiar came up. I'll let you know why, because of the video, those things seemed familiar. And I decided to give it some more thoughts, read about it more. What I started doing was reading articles online. I read articles online. I watched YouTube videos like this. I watched different videos on a day in the life of a product manager on YouTube. I took some courses, some free courses. So one of the things I did was I went on LinkedIn. So you know how LinkedIn is always asking you to do a 1 month free premium plan. I finally took up that offer. I did that 1 month free premium plan and I took some courses on LinkedIn Learning. I cannot exactly remember the names of those courses now. I know that one was for about 20 hours. I will see if I can find those courses and add a link in the description. But some of those courses really helped me. Although at first they were a bit confusing, but reading, watching videos on YouTube, very relatable videos of what product managers do in a day, and taking some of those courses came together to sort of help me have a better understanding of who a product manager is, what product management is about, and what a product manager does. My first encounter with product management was how am I going to describe this now? I had a colleague one time. I had a colleague who was doing a product management course. At the time, I was a creative project associate. She was doing a product management course, and she was on and on about it. I didn't really care for it because I didn't understand it. I didn't know what it was about, but that was sort of the first time I knew about product management. The second time that product management came to my doorstep or came to my consciousnly was when in my previous organization, so the organization where I left after I got married. Recall at the beginning I said I lost my job 2 months after I got married. In that organization, the tech lead had approached me to be a product manager on the tech team. I was wondering, why me? My colleague who is your friend is already doing a course in product management. Why not approach that one to be a product manager instead of me? As at that time, I told him I wasn't interested. Yes, I know it sounds very funny now, but that's what ignorance does to people. And there's also this thing about timing. I wish I knew what product management was at the time and had taken the opportunity, but all things work together, or all things have worked together for my good at the end of the day. So long story short, I declined that offer because I felt like I was comfortable where I was happy where I was. The third time that product management really came to my, I think this was the thing that sort of made me feel like, apart from the interview for me, listening in on the interview that my husband was having with that product manager was for me the straw that broke the camel's back. But another thing that sort of validated for me that I could excel in this product management this product management career was so I know I'd worked with someone who is currently a CTO in an organization, and at the time they were searching to hire a product manager. He made a comment to my husband that my husband told me about, and he said, why are we looking for because I've worked with this particular CTO before, and he said, why are we looking up and down for a product manager when Praise is there? Ask Praise to come and take the job. But at the time, myself and my husband did not want to work at the same organization. I was not interested in working in an organization where my husband was HR. I mean, that was just a mutual agreement between both of us, so I did not necessarily pursue it. But what that told me was that if this person whom I have worked with in the past believes that I can take up this product management role, then maybe there is something here that I'm not seeing. There's probably, again, recall that I said that when that interview was happening, it felt a bit familiar. Now let me tell you why. In my role as a creative project associate, one of the things I've done, so I handled a project at the time. I mean, now I would call it a product, but I handled a project at the time that was around consumer financing. And that project required us to do some updates on our website. So I identified, because I was the one sort of handling that project, I identified how our website needed to be optimized, identified what needed to be done so that customers who come on the website would know, number one, that they have an option for financing and will be able to apply for consumer financing. So what I did at the time was I'd go to the engineering team and just tell them what I want. I didn't know about documentation, I didn't know about user stories, nothing. I knew nothing about those things. The best I could do at the time was to draw flows, because I've always been someone who has to sort of visualize my ideas and make people understand it. And for me at that time, the best way I felt like I could communicate it to the engineers was to create flows. So I would use Google Slides to create flows and let them know that this is how I want the journey to be like. When customer comes, I want him to be able to see this. I need him to be able to click on this, and when he clicks on this, this is what I want to see. I didn't even know I needed to work with a designer and approve designs. Nothing. I just went there, told them what I wanted, and they delivered. They gave it to me at the end of the day. And that was why the tech lead believed that I could be a product manager, number one. That was also why the CTO felt like, you've done this before. By the time, I didn't have anybody to guide me. I didn't have anybody to tell me that you are leaning towards this, maybe look into this more, or this is how to do this. There was really nobody to give me that kind of guidance. So I was just doing things. And that was why it looked like some of the things on the interview and some of the things that I read and listened to subsequently felt familiar. After watching all these videos, getting some sort of validation from some of the people around me, doing these courses, I decided that this was going to be my ticket into tech. This was going to be my entryway. These skills, many of the skills that are required for product management, I felt like I had them at some level. And the ones I didn't have, I knew that there were things that wouldn't be too difficult for me to hone. They wouldn't be too difficult for me to, grow. And I decided that this is it. So it got to the point where I felt like I needed to talk to someone, because I've read articles, I've watched videos, I've done some courses. I felt like I needed to talk to someone, especially in Nigeria. If we're going to be honest with ourselves, with almost anything, the way we do things in Nigeria is quite peculiar. And so I felt like I needed to talk to a product manager who was already working in a Nigerian company. At the time, I didn't know any product manager. I remember putting it on my WhatsApp status, asking for, just writing, are you a product manager? Do you know any product manager? Please link me up. I need to speak with a product manager. And I didn't get any response at the time because none of my contacts that I knew then were product managers, and nobody else knew a product manager, so nobody linked me up. And I prayed about it in my usual fashion. And then one of these days, I was just going through WhatsApp and I saw someone's status. Now, this guy, we had worked together when I was in my previous organization on the consumer financing products. He was working with Carbon at the time we were working together. He was working with Carbon, and Carbon was the platform we used for our credit rating, to sort of rate the eligibility of customers to gain financing, and then that platform also told us how much they were eligible to get. And we didn't have a great working relationship. Well, it wasn't bad, but it wasn't great. No, it wasn't great. I always had issues because I was wondering, why is product not working, this and that. We had done our own parts to convince these customers, get them, let them know that this is legit. And at the point of rating their credit and processing these loans and everything, it was stressful. That's the word I was using. It wasn't just working out, and it was frustrating to me because I had targets to meet and I had people to answer to. So the relationship wasn't really great. But we had gotten married around the same time. So I got married in December 2020. I think he got married around November, December 2020. I saw his status on WhatsApp. He posted his wedding pictures and I was happy for him. I congratulated him. So that has sort of watered the ground. We called that we didn't have a great relationship, but both of us were married now. We're happy for each other. We exchanged pleasantries. That sort of watered the ground a bit. So fast forward to much later the next year, when I saw his status, it was a flyer for a virtual event, an online event, and he was the guest speaker. So there was a picture of him, his name, and his title, and that was where I realized that he was a product manager. So all the time we had been working together on that consumer financing product, I didn't know he was a product manager. I didn't know. And I didn't know anything about bugs. So it's why I was frustrated about the platform not really working well, and I didn't even realize that that was their MVP. So I didn't have all this knowledge. Nobody communicated to me. Back to the flyer I saw on his status. I attended the event. I found out the dates. I got the dates, got the link, registered, and attended the event. After attending the event, I got into his DM and I told him, I'm interested in becoming a product manager. I have taken some courses, I have watched some videos, I have read some articles, but I feel like I'm at the point where I need to talk to somebody to get, a practical idea of what you do on a day-to-day in a Nigerian organization. I asked him some questions. He was gracious enough, responded to all my questions. I also told him that I would like, mentorship, and if at any point he had like a side project, because I know he had moved from Carbon to another organization. I can't remember what the name is right now. And so of course I'm an outsider. I couldn't have worked with him on internal projects. So I told him, if you have external projects or by the side projects, I don't mind working with you on those projects. I mean, I'm happy to even work pro bono. I'm happy to do this for free, but just let me know. I think during the course of the conversation, he told me that he had worked with someone, I think the first boss he worked with, that even really introduced him to product management. She is a senior product manager in the industry, and she has a thing for mentoring younger product managers. She liked mentoring. She had a platform where she was mentoring, and so he gave me her name. It took me a while, it took me some days, but I reached out to her on LinkedIn. I found her on LinkedIn. I followed her on LinkedIn and I sent her a message. I'll put a screenshot of the message here. It was a real pitch. So I told her my name, what I'd done, all the effort I'd made on my own to, research and know things about product management, and how I am at the point where I believe that I need practical hands-on experience to get me from where I am to where I need to be. And I know that she's passionate about mentoring people, and I'll be happy to work with her on any projects that she's currently working on pro bono. I also told her that I also sort of gave her, no, I didn't give it to her. I told her that I'll be happy to give her the names of some of the previous bosses I'd worked with that will be willing to, vouch for me or give me a recommendation, just so that she knows that I wasn't going to waste her time. Because even in my experience as a product manager, there are people who come to you for mentorship, there are people who come to ask questions, who want you to guide them, and at the end of the day, they waste your time because they are not very sure of what they are doing. It happens. So I needed to sort of reassure her that I wasn't going to waste her time. It took her some days, but she responded to my message. We scheduled a conversation, and she told me that I could come work with her. On one of the projects that she was working on, and that was how I started working with her. Recall that I told her that I was ready to work pro bono, but it wasn't pro bono. Now I know how privileged this can sound. I mean, we live in Nigeria, or we're adults, wherever it is in the world that you're living, you have bills to pay, you have things to do. But I was privileged to offer my time up for free to learn what I needed to learn to get to where I needed to get to. But luckily, she gave me a monthly stipend. It increased over time, and then after 6 months, she gave me a full-time offer. She gave me my first opportunity as a product manager, and to be very honest, I do not take it for granted. So I worked with her for about a year. I started working with her in September 2021. By November 2022, I got another offer, a much juicier, more challenging, bigger offer, challenging and much better in terms of, organization, the environment, the kind of products you're going to be working, just better in every sense of the word, And if not for the opportunity, if not for the chance that I was given, I don't know. I know that God has plans for everybody, but I'm still very grateful for that first opportunity I got. How has the journey been so far? So the journey so far has been interesting. I'm not disappointed at all. Product management is a very interesting field. It is a career which I find that I am able to fully express myself. It is very challenging. Product management is not as sexy as it sounds. I know you're a tech sis, you're a tech girly, but product management is difficult. Product management is very challenging. Product management will affirm or disaffirm to you what you think about yourself. So if you think you're a problem solver and you get into product management, you will know. You will know whether you're actually a problem solver or you are a runaway person. Yeah, but product management has been fire. Product management has been beautiful. Maybe one of these days I'll do a video on how product management changed my life, but it has been an interesting ride these past few years. Some of the challenges I had when I just started. Now, recall that I don't have a tech background. In all these conversations, I don't have a tech background. I studied economics and statistics. My previous jobs range from customer service to sales to project associates to process excellence. So I had never done anything techy. I'd been running away from software engineering, from coding, so I didn't have a tech background. So it was a bit challenging for me at first to understand a couple of things. I remember some of the meetings I joined at first. I was just like, God, what are these people talking about? What are they saying? What's going on here? How long will I understand? And there is getting into tech and understanding the fundamentals of tech, and then there's industry knowledge as well that you have to have. So my first role was in a fintech. I'm still in the payment industry, but I started in the payment industry as well. So there were certain jargons that I did not know about. So what I do is I've been in a meeting. When I hear things like, we need to integrate with this processor, I'll write it integration processor. I'll hear things like API. I'm like, I've been hearing of this API. What exactly is API? I'd go and look at it. I hear things like payment gateway, settlement. I asked questions too. I was not ashamed to ask questions. I was not ashamed to ask questions. I asked questions. I did my research. I read up things. I still do that. Because knowledge is not exhaustive. There's so much to know. There is so much to know. So I still learn. I still look up things that I don't understand. The acronyms, I'm just like, what does this mean? Please help me. And then I learned to depend on my engineers in the very beginning because I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know what I was doing. And I was lucky. I was really privileged to work with. I think I've been privileged to work with really good people. I've been privileged to work with very good people. Of course, some people are not patient enough with you, but some people have been patient with me. They've settled down to explain things to me. I remember when somebody would say, your website is not working, I'm seeing 404 error. I'll go and Google, what does 404 error mean? I'll talk to my engineer and say, okay, this is what it means. These are the likely causes. Okay, this is what to tell them, this and this. So when they tell me what to say, of course, I'll use my own knowledge to refine it and give it to, and tell the customer, I'll talk to my boss, and even till now, I still learn a lot from my engineers, learn a lot from my colleagues. I take every opportunity to learn things so that I can be better in my craft. Some of the other things that have really helped has been joining communities. Product management is not one person's work. Yes, I'm sure so many other careers are like that, but I'm a product manager, so I'll talk about product management. Product management is not one person's work. It helps to be in a community of people who are doing the same thing that you're doing, who most likely have the same challenges that you're having, who can, share their wins with you and whom you can share your wins with. Because there are certain things that happen for a product manager and we know that it takes some level of work and dedication. So communities really, really helped me grow in my career as a product manager. Peer mentorship has also really helped. I know that there is a lot of emphasis on mentoring, having a mentor who has gone ahead of you, which is really great. But if you can find people who are also on the same level as you, and all of you are hungry, have the same level of hunger to get better, to do more, to achieve, to grow. What will happen is this one will go and find knowledge and bring it. This one will find knowledge and bring this one. You people put your heads together. You're able to hold yourselves accountable. You're able to share knowledge and exchange information, and you're able to grow together. So if you're looking to get into product management, with anything in life, mentorship, higher up is good, but also consider peer mentorship. I've come to the end of my story. This is basically how I got into product management without a tech background. I hope that this story inspires someone to go after something that they've been wanting to, not just product management, not just tech. There's anything that you've wanted to do, there's anything that your heart yearns for, there's any opportunity you find around yourself, I suggest that you take it up, look into it, do your research, work hard at it, and in no time you begin to live your answered prayers. If you have come this far, thank you so much for watching my video. I appreciate you from the bottom of my heart. I'm serious. Please do well to share this video to your friends or colleagues or people around you who you know are trying to get into product management. Don't forget to drop a comment for me. Let me know what part of this video touched you. If you enjoyed watching and listening to my story. If you have any questions, please drop it in the comment section. If there are videos or topics you'd like me to touch on around product management, please let me know, and if I don't already have it in my list of videos to do, I would add it. Also, please watch out for my other product management and tech videos that I'll be putting out. Again, thank you for coming with me on this beautiful journey. Till we see again in my next video, have a beautiful one. Bye.